The great crystal palace floated high above the clouds of Zephyria Prime. Its walls sparkled like diamonds in the light of 3 suns. Inside this palace, 12 beings sat around a massive table made of black stone. These were not humans. They were something else entirely. Overlord HFY stood at the head of the table. His body looked like it was carved from blue crystal. Light moved through his skin like water. When he spoke, his voice echoed in the minds of everyone present. This was how his people talked to each other. They did not need to use their mouths. "The humans are spreading," HFY said. His mental voice was cold and sharp. "They have 17 worlds now. Soon they will have more." War Marshal Korthik slammed his massive fist on the table. The sound was like thunder. Korthik was twice as tall as a human. His skin was thick and gray like stone. Red eyes glowed in his ugly face. "Let them spread," he growled. "When we are ready, we will crush them all." Around the table, other beings nodded. There was Sage Veltaran, who looked like a ball of golden light. There was Commander 6, a snake-like creature with silver scales. There was High Priest Morlock, whose face was covered by a black hood. They all agreed with Korthik. These beings called themselves the Galactic Hegemony Council. For thousands of years, they had ruled the galaxy. They decided which species lived and which species died. They had destroyed many races before. The humans would be just another name on a long list. "Tell me about these humans again," said Voltaran. The light being's voice sounded like music, but there was no kindness in it. "How long have they been in space?" A small robot rolled forward. It projected images into the air above the table. The images showed human ships, human cities, human faces. "The humans first left their home world 53 years ago," the robot said in a flat voice. "They have built colonies on 17 planets. Their population is approximately 8 billion across all worlds." 8 billion, laughed Commander 6. The snake being's tongue flicked out to taste the air. "My people ate more than that for breakfast when we conquered the Rigel system." More laughter filled the room. These beings thought 8 billion humans was nothing. The smallest of their own empires had trillions of citizens. "What weapons do they have?" asked High Priest Morlock. His voice came from under his hood like wind through a cave. The robot showed more images. Human soldiers with energy rifles. Human ships with missile launchers. Human cities protected by force fields. "Their technology is approximately 300 years behind our current level," the robot reported. "Their weapons cannot penetrate our shields. Their ships cannot match our speed." "Primitives," spat Korthik. "We should have destroyed them when we first found them." "Patience," said HFY. "We learned long ago that it is better to let young species develop. When they have something worth taking, then we act." The Overlord waved his crystal hand. New images appeared in the air. They showed human mines pulling metal from asteroids. They showed human farms on green worlds. They showed human factories building machines. "Look how hard they work," HFY said. "They are building our future empire for us." This was how the galactic hegemony always worked. They watched young species grow strong. They let them build cities and fleets and armies. Then, when the time was right, they came like wolves. They took everything the young species had built. They killed or enslaved everyone they found. "I have studied these humans," said a new voice. All heads turned to look at Dr. Yithmer. He was a gray being with a large brain that pulsed with blue veins. "They are interesting in some ways. They fight each other often, but they also help each other. This makes them unpredictable. All young species fight among themselves," said Voltaran. "It makes them weak when we arrive." "Perhaps," said Dr. Yithmer. "But these humans have something unusual. When they are threatened by outsiders, they stop fighting each other. They become united. Korthik laughed so hard that crystals fell from the ceiling. United? 8 billion primitives with sticks and stones? Against us? He stood up from his chair. Even sitting down, he had been taller than most beings. Now he looked like a mountain. I could destroy their entire species by myself. No, said Dexai. We will do this properly. We will follow the old ways. The Overlord's crystal body began to glow brighter. This meant he was making an important decision. We will start with their outer worlds, the ones that are far from their home planet. We will hit them fast and hard. We will leave no survivors. No survivors? Asked Dr. Yithmer. What about slaves? What about experiments? These humans might be useful. The room went quiet. All eyes turned to Dexai. The Overlord was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his mental voice was like ice. No, these humans are different. I can feel it. If we leave any of them alive, they will become a problem later. We will kill them all. Every man, woman, and child? Asked Velteran. Every single one, confirmed Dexai. We will wipe them from existence. No one will even remember they ever lived. The council voted. 12 hands went up. The decision was made. The humans would die. All of them died as the meeting ended. The council members left one by one. They went back to their ships and their armies. They began preparing for war. They expected it to be easy. They expected it to be quick. High above them, the Crystal Palace continued to float in the sky. Inside it, robots began planning the attack. They calculated how many ships would be needed. They decided which weapons to use. They picked which human worlds to hit first. None of them knew they had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. None of them understood what they were about to wake up. The humans looked weak and primitive from the outside. But appearances could be very deceiving. In a few weeks, the galactic hegemony would learn why it was dangerous to threaten the human race. They would learn why no one in the galaxy should ever try to hurt human children. But by then, it would be far too late to take back their decision. The hunt for humanity was about to begin. But the council had no idea who would be the hunters and who would be the prey. Admiral Sarah Chun stood in the command center on Luna Base. Through the big windows, she could see Earth turning slowly in space. The blue and white planet looked peaceful. But Sarah knew that peace was about to end. The communication officer ran toward her. His face was white with fear. "Admiral," he said, breathing hard. "We're getting reports from the outer colonies. Something terrible is happening." Sarah felt her heart start beating faster. "Show me," she said. The main screen lit up with images from space. But these were not normal images. They were broken and full of static. Voices came through the speakers. Human voices screaming for help. "This is New Hope Colony," a woman's voice cried out. "They came from nowhere. Our shields are down. Our weapons are useless. They're killing everyone. Oh God, they're killing the children too. Please, if anyone can hear this." The transmission cut to static. Another voice came through. This one was a man from Frontier Station 7. "The ships are huge," he said. His voice shook with terror. "They're not taking prisoners. They're just destroying everything. The weapon they used, it makes people dissolve. Just dissolve into nothing. Sarah, if you're listening, tell my wife I static again." More voices followed. From Kepler Colony, from New Texas, from Hope's End, all saying the same thing. The aliens had come. They were not here to conquer. They were here to kill every human they could find. General Marcus Rodriguez walked into the command center. His uniform was wrinkled like he had been sleeping, but his eyes were wide awake and angry. "How many colonies have we lost contact with?" he asked. "7 so far," Sarah replied. All of our outer worlds. The attack started 3 hours ago. They hit all 7 colonies at the same time. Coordinated attack, Marcus said. This was planned. Dr. Elena Vasquez hurried into the room. She was carrying a tablet computer filled with data. Elena was Earth's best expert on alien species. She had studied every alien race that humans had ever met. I've been analyzing the partial transmissions, she said. The weapon signatures don't match anything in our databases. What does that mean? Sarah asked. It means we're dealing with someone new, Elena replied. Someone with technology far beyond what we've seen before. The communication officer called out again. Admiral, I'm getting something from Kepler Colony. It's just one ship. They say they're the last survivors. Put them through, Sarah ordered. The screen flickered. Then they could see Captain Jim Morrison. His face was covered in blood and dirt. Behind him, they could see the ruins of what used to be a city. Earth Command, he said. This is Captain Morrison. Kepler Colony is gone. They hit us with some kind of weapon that eats through everything. Our shields, our buildings, our people. How many survivors? Asked Marcus. My crew and me. 23 people out of 50,000. Jim's voice broke. They didn't even land troops. They just fired from orbit until everything was dead. Then they left. Sarah felt sick. 50,000 people. Gone. Just like that. Jim, did you see what kind of ships they were using? Elena asked. Big ones. Crystal and metal. They move faster than anything I've ever seen. And the beings inside. I got a look at one of them before they started shooting. It wasn't human. It was tall and gray with too many arms. The transmission ended when Jim's ship lost power. Sarah looked around the room. Everyone was staring at her. They were waiting for orders. But what orders could she give? How do you fight an enemy you've never seen before? How do you protect your people when the enemy can destroy entire worlds? Elena, Sarah said, I need you to tell me everything you can about these aliens. Find out who they are and what they want. I'm already on it, Elena replied. But Sarah, based on what we've seen, I don't think they want anything from us except our deaths. What do you mean? Elena took a deep breath. They're not taking prisoners. They're not demanding surrender. They're not trying to capture our technology or our resources. They're just killing everyone they find. This isn't a war for conquest. This is genocide. The word hung in the air like a curse. Genocide. The systematic killing of an entire race of people. Marcus slammed his fist on a table. Then we fight back. We mobilize every ship we have. Every weapon. Every soldier. With what? Sarah asked. They just destroyed 7 colonies like they were stepping on bugs. Our best weapons couldn't even scratch their shields. Then we built better weapons, Marcus said. That takes time, Elena said. And I don't think they're going to give us time. The communication officer spoke up again. I'm getting reports from our deep space sensors. Large formations of unknown ships are moving toward the middle colonies. They'll reach Madison World and New Geneva in 18 hours. Sarah felt the weight of 8 billion lives pressing down on her shoulders. She was one of the most senior military officers in human space. If anyone could save humanity, it had to be her. But she didn't know how. There has to be something, she said. Some weapon we haven't used. Some strategy we haven't tried. Elena was reading from her tablet. Actually, she said slowly, there might be. Everyone turned to look at her. For the past 20 years, our military has been developing weapons that we've never used, Elena continued. Weapons that were considered too dangerous, too terrible. We kept them secret because we were afraid of what other humans might think of us if they knew what we could do. What kind of weapons? Marcus asked. Elena's face was pale. Weapons that could destroy entire solar systems. Weapons that could kill every living thing on a planet without damaging the buildings. Weapons that could make stars explode. Sarah stared at her. Why were we building things like that? Because some of our scientists believed that one day we might meet aliens who wanted to destroy us, Elena replied. They wanted to make sure that if someone tried to wipe out humanity, we could wipe them out first. The room was quiet for a long moment. Then Marcus spoke. Where are these weapons now? Hidden, Elena said. Scattered across dozens of secret facilities. Most of our own government doesn't even know they exist. Sarah made her decision. Contact every facility. Tell them to start preparing everything they have. If these aliens want to kill every human in the galaxy, then we'll show them what happens when you threaten the human race. She turned to address the entire command center. Send a message to every human world. Every ship. Every station. Tell them what's happening. Tell them that we're at war. And tell them that this war will decide whether humanity lives or dies. As the messages went out across human space, something began to change. The scattered human colonies started coming together. Ships began moving toward Earth. Weapons that had been hidden for decades started powering up. The aliens thought they were hunting helpless prey. They had no idea that they had just woken up the most dangerous predator in the galaxy. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UE's Retribution. Through the front window, he could see the Brutari homeworld growing larger. It was a dark planet with red clouds swirling around it. Millions of the gray-skinned aliens lived down there. They had no idea what was coming for them. All weapons ready, Captain, reported his weapons officer. Jake nodded. 3 weeks ago, he had been a simple cargo ship captain. Then the aliens destroyed Kepler Colony. They killed his brother. They killed his brother's children. Now Jake was the captain of humanity's first revenge ship. The Retribution was not like other human ships. It had been built in secret over many years. Hidden inside were weapons that could crack planets open like eggs. Weapons that could poison entire solar systems. Weapons that good people should never use. But these were not good times. The aliens had made that choice for them. Open a channel to the planet, Jake ordered. His communication officer worked at her station. Channel open, sir. Jake spoke clearly so the aliens below could understand. This is Captain Morrison of the human ship Retribution. 3 weeks ago, your War Marshal Korthek led an attack on our colonies. He killed 50,000 innocent people on Kepler alone. He killed children who had never hurt anyone. On the planet below, alarms were starting to sound. Alien ships were taking off to defend their world. Jake watched them come up toward his ship. They looked like angry insects. You thought we were weak, Jake continued. You thought we were primitives with sticks and stones. You were wrong. The alien ships opened fire. Bright energy beams struck the Retribution's shields. Jake felt the ship shake slightly. But the shields held easily. Human defensive technology had improved a lot in the past 3 weeks. Return fire, Jake ordered. They used the quantum dissolvers. The Retribution's main guns fired. But these were not normal energy weapons. They fired invisible beams that changed matter at the smallest level. The alien ships that were hit simply stopped existing. One moment they were there. The next moment there was nothing but empty space. More alien ships came up from the planet. Jake destroyed them all. It was not even a fair fight. The aliens' weapons could not hurt his ship. But his weapons could erase theirs from reality. Sir, called his sensor officer. I'm detecting massive energy readings from the planet's surface. They're powering up some kind of super weapon. Good, Jake said. Let them try. A huge beam of red energy shot up from the planet. It was the most powerful weapon the Brutari had ever built. It could destroy a moon. When it hit the Retribution, Jake felt the ship shake harder. Sparks flew from some control panels. Shields down to 95%, reported his engineering officer. Jake smiled. It was not a nice smile. Is that the best they can do? Fired the Star Killer torpedo. His weapons officer hesitated. Sir, are you sure? There are billions of people down there. They didn't worry about our people, Jake replied. Fire the torpedo. The torpedo launched from the Retribution. It was small and black and almost invisible. It flew down toward the planet very fast. When it hit the ground, nothing seemed to happen at first. Then the planet's sun started to change color. What did that torpedo do? Asked Jake's science officer. It infected their star with artificial particles, Jake explained. In about 6 hours, their sun will explode. The explosion will destroy everything in this solar system. On the planet below, the aliens had figured out what was happening. Jake could hear their panic communications on the radio. They were screaming about their sun dying. They were begging for mercy. Jake opened the channel again. This is what happens when you try to destroy humanity, he said. Your war marshal wanted to kill every human child in the galaxy. So now every Butari child will die instead. You have 6 hours to think about whether it was worth it. The Retribution turned and flew away. Behind them, the Butari sun grew brighter and brighter as it prepared to die. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were happening. Human ships were appearing at alien worlds. But these ships were like nothing anyone had seen before. They carried weapons that defied understanding. At the Luminary system, Captain Lisa Wong released a swarm of self-replicating robots. The robots were tiny, but they could make copies of themselves using any material they found. Within hours, they had eaten 3 planets and built 1 million robot warships. At the Zephyrian outer colonies, Commander David Park used gravity bombs to make a star collapse into a black hole. The black hole swallowed everything in the system, including the space station where 1 million Zephyrians lived. At the Slith homeworld, Captain Maria Santos released a biological weapon that was designed specifically to kill snake-like aliens. It spread through their atmosphere like wildfire. Within days, their entire species was extinct. The aliens had expected humanity to fight with missiles and energy beams. Instead, humans fought with physics itself. They used gravity as a weapon. They turned stars into bombs. They made diseases that could kill specific types of aliens while leaving human-friendly worlds untouched. In the Crystal Palace above Sephoria Prime, the Galactic Council was meeting an emergency session. But this time, they were not talking about conquest. They were talking about survival. How is this possible? Demanded Overlord Dex High. His crystal body was flickering with fear. 3 weeks ago, they were primitives. Now they're destroying our greatest worlds like they're nothing. War Marshal Korthik was gone. His homeworld had been turned into cosmic dust. In his place sat Admiral Grexton, an insect-like being with compound eyes. They were never primitives, Grexton said. They were hiding their true capabilities. This was all planned. Dr. Yithmer's brain was pulsing faster than usual. This meant he was thinking very hard. I've been studying their attack patterns, he said. These weapons they're using, some of them are based on technology that should take centuries to develop. But the humans already have them. What are you saying? Asked Sage Velteran. I'm saying they've been preparing for this war for decades, Dr. Yithmer replied. While we thought they were primitive farmers and miners, they were secretly building the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. They were planning for the day when someone would try to destroy them. Commander Six hissed with anger. Then we fight back. We use our own superweapons. We tried, said Admiral Grexton. We hit their world called New Geneva with our planet cracker bomb. The bomb didn't even scratch their new shields. But somehow, They turned our own bomb around and sent it back at us. It destroyed our entire attack fleet. The room fell silent. Their planet cracker bombs were supposed to be unstoppable. But the humans had stopped one and sent it back like it was a ball in a children's game. How many of our worlds have we lost? Asked High Priest Morl. OK. Dr. Yithmer checked his data tablet. 47 major worlds. 300 minor colonies. Approximately 200 billion beings. And how many human worlds have we successfully destroyed since they started fighting back? None. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. None. The mighty galactic hegemony, rulers of the galaxy for thousands of years, had not managed to destroy a single human world since the war began. We need to negotiate, said Voltaran. We need to offer them something they want. What could we offer them that they can't just take? Asked HFY. Peace, said a new voice. Everyone turned to look at the speaker. It was Counselor Zephyra, a small blue being who rarely spoke in council meetings. We could offer them peace. We could promise to leave them alone. After what we've done? Dr. Yithmer shook his head. Look at their pattern of attacks. They're not trying to conquer us. They're trying to erase us. Just like we tried to erase them. The truth hit the council like a cold wind. The humans weren't trying to rule the galaxy. They were trying to empty it. They wanted to kill every single alien who had voted to destroy humanity. And so far, they were winning. Overlord HFY stood alone in his private chamber at the top of the Crystal Palace. Through the walls, he could see space filled with human ships. They had appeared 3 days ago. Hundreds of them, floating silently around Zephyria Prime like hungry sharks. The ships were not attacking. They were just waiting. And that made them even more terrifying. A communication crystal on his desk began to glow. HFY touched it with one finger. The face of Dr. Yithmer appeared in the crystal. The gray alien looked like he had not slept in weeks. Overlord, Dr. Yithmer said, I have finished my analysis of the human war machine. The results are disturbing. Tell me, HFY replied. They have been watching us for 53 years. Since the day they first left their home planet. Every signal we sent, every ship we deployed, every weapon we tested. They recorded it all. HFY felt his crystal skin grow cold. How is that possible? Our communication networks are encrypted with quantum locks. Apparently not well enough, Dr. Yithmer said. The humans cracked our codes decades ago. They know everything about us. Our technology, our politics, our weaknesses. They even know which of our worlds have the weakest defenses. The Overlord walked to his window. Below, he could see the lights of his capital city. Billions of Zephyrians lived down there. They were hiding in their homes, waiting for death to fall from the sky. What about our allies? HFY asked. The mercenary fleets we hired? Gone, Dr. Yithmer replied. The Corvaxi battle fleet was destroyed yesterday. The humans used some kind of weapon that turned their own ships against them. The Corvaxi ended up destroying themselves. And the others? The Valdari refused to fight after seeing what happened to the Corvaxi. The Hexarthi are hiding in the Void Nebula. The Thorgan Empire has sealed their borders and won't answer our calls. HFY closed his eyes. In 3 weeks, humanity had destroyed the most powerful military alliance in galactic history. Not through superior numbers or better tactics, but through pure technological terror. There's something else, Dr. Yithmer continued. I intercepted a human communication. They're not just targeting our military worlds anymore. They're targeting our breeding colonies, our nursery worlds, our genetic storage facilities. What does that mean? It means they're not just trying to kill us. They're trying to make sure we can never come back. They're destroying our future as well as our present. The communication crystal went dark. HFY stood in his chamber. thinking about how everything had gone so wrong so quickly. 3 weeks ago, he had been the supreme ruler of the galaxy. Every species bowed before the Galactic Council. Every world paid tribute. Every star system followed their laws. Now he was trapped in his own palace, waiting for the humans to decide whether he lived or died. A new crystal began to glow. This one was different. It was emergency red, which meant someone was calling from the council chambers. HFY activated it. Overlord. The voice belonged to Admiral Grexton. The humans are broadcasting on all frequencies. They want to talk. HFY felt a spark of hope. If the humans wanted to talk, maybe they could negotiate. Maybe they could find some way to survive this nightmare. Put them through, he ordered. The crystal changed colors. Now it showed the face of a human female. She had gray hair and cold blue eyes. Her uniform was clean and professional. But there was something in her expression that made HFY's skin crawl. I am Admiral Sarah Chun of the Terran Defense Force, the human said. I am speaking to what remains of the Galactic Hegemony Council. I am Overlord HFY, he replied. We are willing to discuss terms. Terms? Admiral Chun's eyebrows went up. You think this is a negotiation? We could offer reparations, HFY said quickly. Resources, technology, territory. Whatever you want. Admiral Chun was quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was like ice. 3 weeks ago, your council voted to commit genocide against my species. You wanted to kill every human man, woman, and child in the galaxy. Do I have that right? HFY wanted to lie, but he could see in her eyes that she already knew the truth. Yes, he whispered. And now that we're killing you instead, you want to negotiate. Please, HFY said. There must be something we can do. Some way to end this madness. There is, Admiral Chun replied. You can die. The communication ended. The crystal went dark in the council chambers. Panic was spreading like a disease. Representatives from the surviving alien species were screaming at each other in a dozen different languages. Some wanted to surrender. Others wanted to keep fighting. A few wanted to flee to other galaxies. Sage Velteran tried to restore order. We need to think rationally, the energy being said. The humans cannot possibly want to kill everyone in the galaxy. They must want something. They want revenge, said Dr. Yithmer. And they're getting it. Commander 6 slithered around the table. His silver scales were dull with fear. My intelligence reports say they have weapons we haven't even seen yet. Weapons that could destroy the entire galactic core. That's impossible, said High Priest Morlock. No one has that much power. Dr. Yithmer laughed, but it was not a happy sound. 24 days ago, we thought it was impossible for primitives to destroy our greatest worlds. We were wrong about that too. Through the crystal windows, they could see the human fleet growing larger. More ships arrived every hour. Some were huge battleships covered in weapon ports. Others were small and sleek and moved too fast to track. A few looked like nothing anyone had ever seen before. They're not even hiding their numbers from us, observed Admiral Grexton. They want us to see how hopeless this is. Maybe that's the point, said Counselor Zephyra. Maybe they want us to surrender. To what end? Asked HFY. So they can kill us more efficiently? The Overlord had returned to the council chambers. His crystal skin was flickering rapidly, which meant he was very upset. I just spoke with their Admiral Chun. She made it clear that they have no interest in our surrender. Then what do they want? Demanded Velteran. Our extinction, HFY replied. Complete and total. They want to wipe us from the galaxy like we never existed. The council chamber fell silent. Outside, more human ships continued to arrive. Inside, the representatives of 12 ancient species realized that they were about to become extinct. How many of our people are left? Asked High Priest Morlock. Dr. Yithmer checked his data. Across all our species, approximately 3 trillion beings remain alive. But the humans are destroying our worlds faster than we can evacuate them. 3 trillion, whispered Counselor Zephyra. 3 weeks ago, we ruled over 800 trillion beings. The math was simple and terrible. In 3 weeks, humanity had killed more than 99% of the galactic hegemony's population, and they showed no signs of slowing down. We could try to run, suggested Admiral Grexton. Flee to the Andromeda Galaxy. Start over there. With what ships? Asked Six. The humans have destroyed most of our fleet. And besides, how do we know they won't follow us there too? Dr. Yithmer was studying his tablet again. His brain was pulsing very fast. Actually, he said slowly, I don't think running will work. Why not? Because I've been tracking their ship movements. They have fleets positioned at every major hyperspace jump point. They're not just destroying our worlds. They're cutting off our escape routes. They've trapped us here. The terrible truth settled over the council like a heavy blanket. They were not just losing the war. They were not just facing defeat. They were facing total annihilation. And there was nothing they could do to stop it. The humans had come for revenge. And they were very, very good at it. Admiral Sarah Chun stood on the bridge of the U-East Judgment. Through the massive viewing window, she could see the Crystal Palace floating above Zephyria Prime. It looked beautiful in the light of the 3 suns. But Sarah knew what evil had been planned inside those sparkling walls. All fleets report ready, Admiral, said her communications officer. Sarah nodded. Around the planet, 1,000 human ships waited in perfect formation. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a moon. Together, they could crack planets in half or make stars explode. But that was not why they were here. They were here to finish what the aliens had started. Open a channel to the palace, Sarah ordered. The main screen flickered to life. It showed the council chamber inside the Crystal Palace. 12 alien beings sat around a black stone table. Sarah could see the fear in their eyes. Good. They should be afraid. At the head of the table sat Overlord Dexhai. His crystal skin was dim and cracked. 3 weeks of war had broken his spirit. When he spoke, his mental voice was weak and shaky. Admiral Chun, he said, we surrender. Unconditionally. Please. We surrender. I know, Sarah replied calmly. I received your surrender message yesterday. And the day before that. And every day this week. Then why haven't you accepted it? Dexhai asked. Hope flickered in his alien eyes. Sarah's expression did not change. Because this was never about conquest. This was never about forcing you to surrender. This was about justice. She gestured to someone off-screen. A moment later, Dr. Elena Vasquez appeared beside her. Elena was carrying a data tablet filled with information about the war. Dr. Vasquez has been keeping track of our progress, Sarah said. Elena, please give the council our final report. Elena looked down at her tablet. Her voice was cold and professional. In the past 24 days, human forces have eliminated approximately 796 trillion alien beings. We have destroyed 843 major worlds, 3,000 minor colonies, and 47 space habitats. The aliens in the council chamber made sounds of despair. Some were crying. Others were shaking with fear. Of the 12 species that voted for human extinction, Elena continued, 11 are now extinct themselves. Only the Zephyrians remain, and their numbers have been reduced from 100 billion to approximately 5 million. Overlord Dexhai stared at the screen in horror. 5 million? Out of 100 billion? Your people are the lucky ones, Sarah said. We saved you for last because you were the ones who made the decision. You were the ones who voted to kill our children. We wanted you to watch what happened to everyone else first. Dr. Youthmer, a gray alien with the large brain, spoke up. His voice was barely a whisper. How? How did you become so powerful so quickly? Sarah almost smiled. You want to know our secret? We were never weak. We were never primitive. We just let you think we were. She gestured again. The screen changed to show images from Earth's hidden military facilities. Massive underground bases filled with weapons that looked like they came from science fiction movies. Laboratories where human scientists worked on projects that could reshape reality itself. For 50 years, we knew someone would try to destroy us, Sarah explained. We've been preparing for this war since the day we first met aliens. Every ship you saw, every weapon you cataloged, every technology you dismissed as primitive. It was all fake. We built it specifically to make you underestimate us. The aliens stared at the images in shock. Some of the weapons they saw were beyond their understanding. Others were so advanced they seemed like magic. While you thought we were mining asteroids and growing crops, Sarah continued, we were actually building the most advanced military force in galactic history. We were preparing for the day when someone would threaten the existence of humanity. Sage Velteran, the energy being, flickered with confusion. But why? Why prepare for war when you could have been building a peaceful civilization? Sarah's expression hardened. Because we know what intelligent species are capable of. We studied you. All of you. We learned about the dozens of races you had wiped out over the centuries. We saw your pattern of behavior. And we decided that if you ever turned that behavior on us, we would turn it back on you. High Priest Morlock pulled back his hood. Underneath was a skull-like face with empty eye sockets. So this was always planned? Our destruction? No, Sarah said. We hoped we were wrong about you. We hoped that when you met humanity, you would choose peace over genocide. But you didn't. You voted to kill every human being in existence. So we gave you exactly what you gave us. Elena spoke up again. The difference is, we're better at it than you are. Commander 6 hissed with anger. You're monsters. You're worse than we ever were. Are we? Sarah asked. You wanted to wipe out 8 billion innocent humans because you thought we looked weak. We wiped out your civilizations because you actually tried to commit genocide. Which one of us is the real monster? The council chamber fell silent. They had no answer to that question. Overlord Dex High made one last desperate attempt. What about mercy? What about forgiveness? Surely your species believes in second chances? Sarah was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was heavy with sadness. 3 weeks ago, I might have agreed with you. But then you killed my nephew on Kepler Colony. He was 6 years old. His name was Tommy, and he loved to draw pictures of spaceships. She paused, collecting herself. You also killed Maria Santos' daughter, and David Park's parents, and Jake Morrison's brother and his children. You killed millions of people who never hurt anyone. Children who had never even seen an alien before. And you did it because you thought it would be easy. The Admiral's voice grew harder. You want mercy? You want forgiveness? Asked Tommy. Oh wait, you can. Because you dissolved him with your weapons before he even knew what was happening. Dex High's crystal body began to crack. Actual tears were flowing from his alien eyes. Please, he whispered. We made a mistake. We were wrong. Surely that doesn't mean our entire species has to die. You're right, Sarah said. It doesn't. Hope flickered in the Overlord's eyes again. That's why we're leaving, Sarah continued. In 1 hour, every human ship will depart this galaxy. We're going somewhere else. Somewhere far away where we can build our civilization in peace. Leaving? The XI was confused. What? What about us? Sarah gestured to Elena again. The screen changed to show images of Xiphoria Prime from orbit. But something was wrong with the planet. Its surface was covered in a strange, glowing fog. 47 minutes ago, we released a biological agent into your atmosphere, Sarah explained. It's designed specifically to target Zephyrian DNA. It's completely harmless to other species. But it will kill every Zephyrian on the planet within the next 2 hours. The council chamber erupted in screams and shouts. Aliens were running toward windows, looking down at their home planet with horror. You could have evacuated, Sarah said calmly. But our ships have been jamming your communications for the past hour. Your people don't know what's happening. They'll die peacefully in their sleep. HFY fell to his knees. His crystal body was breaking apart. Why? He sobbed. Why didn't you just kill us quickly like the others? Because you were the leaders, Sarah replied. You needed to understand what you had done. You needed to watch your civilization end, just like you wanted us to watch ours end. She paused, looking down at the broken alien with something that might have been pity. In 2 hours, the galactic hegemony will be extinct, Sarah said. Every species that voted for human genocide will be dead. The galaxy will be empty, except for the few primitive species you hadn't gotten around to destroying yet. And then? Then it will be their galaxy, Sarah said. Maybe they'll do better than you did. Maybe they'll choose peace over conquest. Maybe they'll build something beautiful instead of something terrible. The screen began to fade. But before it went dark, Sarah spoke one last time. We're leaving a message beacon in orbit around your planet. It will broadcast for 1,000,000 years, telling the story of what happened here. Future civilizations will learn about the galactic hegemony. They'll learn about the council that thought genocide was acceptable. And they'll learn what happens to species that threaten humanity. The screen went black dot in the Crystal Palace. The aliens waited to die. Below them, their home planet was already beginning to change color as the biological weapon spread through the atmosphere. Above them, the human fleet began to disappear. Ship after ship vanished into hyperspace, heading for distant galaxies where humanity could start over. Admiral Sarah Chun stood on her bridge, watching the last of the alien worlds fade behind them. In her hand was a photograph of her nephew Tommy, the 6-year-old boy who had loved to draw spaceships. Was it worth it? Asked Elena, standing beside her. Sarah looked at the photograph for a long moment. Then she put it away and turned toward the stars ahead of them. Ask me in 1,000 years, she said, that the human fleet jumped to hyperspace and vanished, leaving behind an empty galaxy and a single warning beacon that would repeat its message until the stars themselves burned out. Here lie the civilizations that believed genocide was acceptable. They learned too late that humanity remembers everything, and humanity never forgives those who threaten our children.